Welcome to State Podcast, episode 4, and this is The Godfather, State of the Godfather, and we have a very special guest, David Soul.
Once again.
How are you?
Not
Sadly,
too bad.
Adam cannot make it because he is a lazy fucking shit and couldn't watch the
Didn't-
fucking Godfather.
We gave him ample notice and he
I gave
still
him a
didn't watch
fucking
it.
month to watch it.
Oh god.
So yeah. So why are we doing State Podcast on The Godfather, Dave?
Oh, because, 30th anniversary, isn't it, of the Godfather 3?
Of The Godfather 3 and
And the new cut.
the new cut, not the
Mm.
Schneider cut, not the Air cut, but the Coppola cut of Godfather Part 3. Godfather Coda, The Death of Michael Corleone, and
Hopefully it's enough to redeem the third movie.
well, yeah, that's the big thing, because it's very interesting, 'cause it's only really recently we've been seeing stuff like this cut-wise,
Oh yeah.
and, I'm a big advocate for cuts of different directors. Me and Adam are still petitioning for the Air cut, the Schumacher cut, the Raimi cut, and so on and so forth, as well as the original cut of Dark Phoenix. Stuff we need to see. We need more Fassbender. But Dave, you saw Godfather before me, and
I have.
you've recently rewatched it. Thoughts on Godfather 3 specifically?
It's a bit of a mess, isn't it? It's
Well, let's bring back to the first one. Masterpiece.
oh, it is an absolute treasure.
Mm-hmm.
Like-
One of my favorite films of all time.
Yeah.
And then you go
Like-
to the second one.
I was gonna say, what do you think's better, the first or the second? Which one would
See,
you...
I've had a lot of arguments with people where I understand why people prefer part 2, but I love the first one so
Yeah.
much because I'm more of a guy who likes the rise.
Yep.
I like to see
Exactly.
the rise before I see, oh, this is me doing this.
Yeah,
It's
that's
an interesting. It's a more. Yes, part 2 is very interesting, and it has the parallel journey
Oh yeah, with Vito and Michael, with
Yeah.
Vito, younger Vito as
with younger
getting
Vito.
started.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
And it's something we would have seen in the in Godfather Part 4, which never happened, sadly, because of
'Cause
Mario
Coppola.
Puzo's death. No, it was Mario Puzo.
was it? Not, oh, was it Pizza? Oh, I thought it was
But
Coppola.
he was writing the first one, but he passed away before he finished
1999,
it.
wasn't it? He
It was
passed away.
around that. It was late 90s, anyways.
Yeah.
And then Coppola was like, right, that's it. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do without him for this. It is Mario's thing, like, which would have actually been very interesting because it would have featured Leonardo DiCaprio as a young Sonny, and it would have brought back De Niro as Vito. But
That would have been good.
it would have been the parallel story with Vincenzo Corleone then.
Oh yeah,
Andy Garcia.
yeah.
But yeah, what do you prefer? 1 or 2 or?
Oh, I'd have to go with 1. I mean, there is stuff that I one of the things I absolutely just love with the first one is just the progression of Michael as a character, and the fact that you can just see him changing throughout the whole film. But which I do love in the second one, where it's literally just him the entire time. In the second one, it's just him, just cold the entire time. But I do love that in the first one, where you get to see him, like, not before he became like that, but like you get to see him kind of living a normal life, and this just being a completely different character. I think it's just so good.
Yeah, because I always say it, when you look into Michael's eyes at the start of the first one, you see, like, oh, it's just your average guy. And then, like, at the end of the thing, oh, one of the best endings of all time.
Oh yeah,
Like, just, it's the greatest end, like, one of the best endings of the films.
it's not even it's not even at the end of the film. It's after Apollonia's death. His wife. Whenever she gets blown up in the car, and then after that there happens, and he goes back to America. That's when you can see.
It's the look in his eyes.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think
It's
about
just,
it,
oh,
like at that point, his father has been was like nearly assassinated. He murdered 2 people and was exiled from the country. He learned
Yeah.
that his brother died or was assassinated, and then
Yeah.
his wife gets assassinated. Like, I mean, can't catch a break. and then as soon as he goes back to America, he's just a different character, and it's great.
It is a great character. Like, I love the idea of a character being forced out of their comfort zone. Because by the time they come back, they're never the same.
But at the same time, I don't think he was forced out of his comfort zone in a way.
Well, he did choose to do it, didn't he?
Yeah, but even before that, like whenever the guys are sent to his father in the hospital, and he like takes command of the situation, then he like prevents that. But whenever it's him, whenever they're trying to plan their revenge, and it's like whenever he like gets his jaw broken by the police officer, and he's like sitting in the chair, and he has like the same speech thing as his father, and it's like the same mouth thing, and he just comes up with a plan, and he's like basically just. It's
taking over at that point.
At that point you can kind of tell he was made for that in a way. And I was like, oh, that's brilliant.
But I think the problem with it is the tragedy of Michael is his father always wanted him to eventually, take over from him, but he never wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And it is this tragedy where he eventually has to do it because he's just like,
oh yeah,
I have to do it because no one else can.
Well, yeah, like he has to do it because like Sonny gets shot and killed.
And Fredo can't.
It's just absolute idiot.
It's just Fredo.
Yeah.
And then it's just like and then obviously Rob Duvall's character
Tom.
Yeah. He obviously can't.
Yeah. That's one thing I'll never forgive the third for.
Well, that's the problem. It was Rob Duvall's fault.
Really?
Oh yeah, no, that's right. That's the thing. Part 3, one of the many tragedies of Part 3 was they were given a year to write, make, and have the film done, like for distribution out in a year. Which compared to like, for example, the first Godfather took a year to film.
Yeah.
Which Al Pacino wasn't happy about, but the second one took just as long. But it had a completely different script originally.
Yeah.
Rob Duvall was one of the main characters. Like, he was basically meant to be the Andy Garcia.
Oh, really?
In a way, almost. Like, it was going to be very similar to that, and then it eventually led to... It was Michael who gets shot in the end.
And not Mary, and
not... Yeah. And then we were going to see Tom react to that, and then, it was going to be basically...
Yeah.
It was going to be a very different film, and then imagine you're ready to do that, and then Rob Duvall's like, I don't want to do it.
Oh, that is annoying.
My character's done. So the whole script had to be rewritten, basically, because Robert Duvall didn't want to do it.
That's so disappointing.
Yeah.
God damn it.
And then, like, Al Pacino had a lot of problems with the third, and he didn't think that Michael would be like this. Where I kind of like Michael being like that. Like, being regretful for what he did.
I can see him. I can see what he means. Like, it did.
He thought the quote he said was he didn't think Michael would feel remorse for killing Fredo.
I don't think he would have. I think Michael was just so far gone in so many ways that he was just completely alienated to everything.
No, but I think it characterizes him because in his old age he realizes.
Yeah, I do like it. And especially now that he's like, whenever he gets like isn't it diabetes, isn't it?
Well, the weird thing was, it was, yeah, it is, yeah.
He
always had it.
Yeah.
Because they've actually foreshadowed it in the earlier films.
Did they?
Because he always drinks water.
Oh!
He's always drinking water, and everyone's like, why is he drinking water? And then it's obviously foreshadowing.
Cool.
Yeah, it's long foreshadowing. Like.
That's cool. But, yeah, I think it's whenever that happens, whenever he has, like, isn't it, like, they say it's a diabetic stroke in the third one. I think there's whenever, like, he realizes, oh shit, like, I
can't do this.
Yeah. I need to pass this on. Like, I need to...
Well, that's the tragedy of the ending. I see, this is my problem with Coppola saying that he's changed the ending. Because he's changed the beginning and the ending. Those are the two big differences. The order of scenes has changed and the composition of some scenes have changed. But I really like the ending.
I was just about to say that's the one thing that I do like.
Because that's meant to be the tragedy.
Yeah, it's the parallel of Vino. It's the opposite of what happened to Vino.
Yeah, no, that's the whole. That's
Like,
the whole thing.
Vino does. Oh, sorry, Vino.
Vino. I was like, what the fuck's going on? Who the fuck's Vino?
like Vino does die in like a similar way, but whenever he dies happy
He's surrounded
with
by
his
family.
With family. Like he's like playing with his grandson. When he dies.
Yeah.
Michael, like in his family home, Michael just dies in
Alone.
the middle of.
He has no one.
Yeah, in the middle of a villa, the same
And
villa
he's
that
blind.
Is he blind?
Well, no, this is the thing. It's not really revealed in the film, but it's very hard to tell because
Is his eyes?
you know
like,
how he
really
puts because you only put sunglasses on, but they're not sunglasses at the end. They're actually because he's blind. It's because the shock of seeing his daughter die made him blind, which I thought was very interesting. I wish I went into it more, but
Yeah.
I think that was the big problem with the ending. Is right, it cuts from her dying to a couple of shots of like previous films and shit, and then and then it's like, oh no, he's old. And it's like, I understand it's meant to be him, the whole Godfather's meant to be him reminiscing and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, nah, right, fuck, we should have had a bit more in between here.
Yeah, but
I'm just worried about the change.
Yeah. That's one thing I will say that if I had one complaint of these films, maybe the first one especially, is the fact that I do find that timing is a bit weird.
How so? What do you mean?
Not weird per se, but there's points where it's like not really illustrated. Like I know, like whenever I rewatched them, like I think I rewatched them last week. When I rewatched the first one, I got through. Whenever Michael goes to Sicily.
Yeah.
I didn't. I only found out afterwards. I was a bit confused. I had to look it up, and I found out he was in Sicily for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, really? That long? I was a bit shocked, but there's like other stuff like that where I'm like, okay, there's time jumps, but you don't know how much time.
I agree, because you're like, fuck, right, it's been like a week, he's married this doll.
Yeah, I was like, that's why I had to look it up. I was like, why did he get married so early, especially whenever he had Kay back home? And I was like, oh.
That always confused me.
2
That was a big
years.
issue I always found with it, yeah.
One thing I found out as well by looking that up is the fact that apparently Apollonia was 1 month pregnant in the book whenever she gets blown up.
Yeah.
I was like, oh. Oh, God.
Yeah. See, that was the thing, like, Coppola, like, carried around, like, a big binder, right? He read the book, right? Read it again, and he had 3 different sections in the book. One was, like, excerpts of, like, scenes and stuff, every single scene, basically in detail, how he would view it.
Yeah.
A next section of the entire book, like, this is the entire book, like 3 copies of the entire book, basically in a binder. Second one was basically character details and analyses and stuff.
Yeah.
And the third one was like, how would he perceive it through these characters? So it's very interesting to see in a way. Just like he carried this fucking binder about throughout the entire production of the first one. Big problem I do have with Godfather Part 3, which I am happy about, is the beginning. I don't like the fact that it begins with the end of Part 2. I'm not a big fan in that, because it starts with obviously the deaths of Fredo.
Yeah.
I don't like that, so there's scenes from Part 2.
Yeah,
it's like, it feels weird.
It's the isn't it like it's like the death of Fredo, and then it skips to what I presume is 1990, because that was the year the film was. I don't know. Is it 1990?
No, it's 70s. It's 70s.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's in the because it's set when the first 2 Godfathers were made.
Oh. Yeah, it just shows the death of Fredo, and then it cuts to that, doesn't it? And then it's him in the church. Yeah.
It's weird.
I will say one thing I will say about the third as well is I find it so much like harder to follow.
Yeah.
There's
so
much going on. Like the whole acquisition of, I can't remember the name of the company. The European company.
Why is it so convoluted?
I don't
Because
know.
then they're bringing the Vatican into it and stuff. And I'm like, sorry, what's going on?
It's like-
The
it's
whole plot's a bit fucking weird.
All I remember is the Vatican was involved. There was a German guy that didn't want it to happen, and that's really all I
Pope
remember.
dies.
The Pope dies.
The Pope dies.
And then the guy, it was the Archbishop or something. He gives a confession to. He becomes the Pope, and then he dies.
Yeah. Oh, because they assassinate him and.
But who assassinated him though? I
Can't remember. Oh, it's David, I haven't seen this in about fucking 2 years, right? But I was confused then as much as I am now. I remember the first two off religiously, but
yeah, it's like they try to pull whenever in the first one, whenever Michael has all the heads of the 5 families assassinated at the same time.
Oh,
it
brilliant.
felt like they tried to do that with the head of the owners of the company. I didn't know if it was Michael that was having them assassinated, or like they were trying to assassinate someone else. I don't know. It was
very confused. You can tell it was a rush job.
Yeah.
Like completely.
Yeah. Oh God.
The cool thing is, and what I like, because I remember reading this when because every time I watch a film, I always do a ton of research into it, stuff I miss and stuff like trivia and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But he didn't want it to be Godfather. Coppola didn't want it to be Godfather Part 3.
Yeah, that's why it took 16 years, doesn't it? He just didn't want to finish. He wanted to leave it at the second.
Yeah, he wanted it to be called. No, he didn't want to do a third. He wanted it to be called The Death of Michael Corleone. No Godfather title, just The Death of Michael Corleone. And then Paramount were like, no, we kind of don't want you to do that.
I can understand.
Like, Godfather is sort of like selling name.
Yeah, I mean,
like, I understand their side of it.
But at the same time, if you're doing a trilogy, I think it would benefit to call it Godfather Part 3.
Yeah.
Because I do like the name, The Death of Michael Corleone, but at the same time, if it's the end of a trilogy,
yeah, because that's why I was like happy with this new title being Coda Death of Michael Corleone.
Yeah.
Which I think is very interesting in a way.
Oh yeah.
He finally got that title.
Oh, I'm so excited to see it now.
Because the coda is sort of like,
What
an
is...
end. It's basically like an end. It's usually referred to in music and stuff, but
Oh right.
it's like the finale and stuff in a way.
I thought it was just an acronym for something.
No. Yeah.
Oh.
Coppola, Oscar de Alpha. There you go.
We've solved it.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, because first Godfather is perfection.
No, yeah. And rewatching it, it is shocking how good that movie is.
So you do prefer the first one then?
Oh yeah.
Because I do. I always have arguments with people. I was like, I prefer a second. I was like, okay, I don't, but
Yeah, it's I'll agree with what you said earlier. Is the fact that I love. See, when it comes to stuff like that, I love watching them get to the power. But whenever they have it, that's whenever I'm like, you don't. I love watching that struggle. That's whenever I watch the second one, I'm like, yeah, like they have all the power and everything. And like they're really powerful and stuff. I'm like, well.
I think it's because it's good character development in a way.
Oh,
Not that
yeah.
he doesn't have character development in the second one, but
Oh, I mean,
but it's yeah. I think that's why a lot of people like characters because they have character development, because then they can relate to them in a way. Because characters fail and all, much like people. But
yeah. I mean,
I think that's why I do. That's probably why I like. You see, my favorite part about Part 2 is Vito, De Niro playing Vito.
yeah.
And it's probably because it's basically the first Godfather, but like in half the time.
Like, see, the whole thing I get from the first 2 movies especially, is I don't really see it as, I don't know how to put this, but like, I wouldn't see it as like rising to power per se. I would see it as more as maintaining that power over time.
Yeah,
that's the way I see them. Those movies.
Well, it's just a defensive game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like it's standing the test of time, and like you can see that with Vito and Michael. Like Michael tries to kind of keep it not the same, but like he tries to keep the family going the same way, but everything around it's changing, which I think ultimately leads to the main downfall of it.
Well, that's the problem, because he's trying to basically do it the way his father did it, and that doesn't work because, right, you move with the times, or the times, you know.
Whenever his father set everything up was in the
20s and stuff, like, you know.
Like, they even say it in the movie. I'm pretty sure they even say it in the second one, where it's like organized crime wasn't as like prevalent or something.
Yeah.
At that time, so people could get away with it a lot easier.
That's also a big thing. It's also like, I think the 70s walks, you know, the whole drug thing.
Yeah.
You see that in a lot of stuff. Like, you've seen Goodfellas, for example. Like, it's, you know, in Goodfellas, it's always when the mafia, when drugs became involved in mafia, it was the downfall of the mafia, basically.
Yeah.
It was the loss of respect.
Yeah.
And, you know, communities were like, all right, the people who once looked out for me, you know, don't fucking do it anymore. It's the same in, like, the mafia games as well. Like, mafia games are slowly built around that. Oh, you need to play them.
That's one thing I do like about the first.
The first two, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure, like that. Yeah, what are you saying, sorry?
No, I was going to say that's one thing I do love about the first one is the fact that Vito automatically recognizes that, and he just automatically declines it whenever what do you call him? Salazzo.
Yeah.
You know, whenever he like tries to, he comes out and he's like trying to make the proposition, and then Vito automatically just goes no. It's not good whatsoever.
No. And that was the downfall of the mafia in a way.
Oh,
not that they're obviously not operating now, but, you know, it's always been perceived in media and, you know, in like different mediums such as, like, you know, video games, films, books, whatever, right? TV shows.
Yeah. I mean, Godfather 3 is set in the 70s. When was the drug thing? You know,
the boom.
The boom. You know, whenever like I think was it Reagan? He like did the whole campaign against drugs.
80s.
80s. I thought that might have had a big reason.
No, because the 70s is where it started, and then by the 80s it was like, right.
See, that's
why Goodfellas really goes into kicks. Goodfellas is in the 80s. In that time.
Yeah.
And we are plugging Martin Scorsese once again in this show. I am not Bong Joon-ho, although I wish I were. A great filmmaker. But yeah, I kind of wanted to use this podcast as not just talking about Godfather, but also like spanning out and talking about how it influenced a lot of things. Like,
oh my god.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about something to influence stuff like this, oh my god, this set off so many.
This is just a chain reaction in a way.
Yeah, it's like the same way, like, I don't even know, I would say like Friday the 13th started off like not started off, but like brought into like the like whole slasher thing, and this definitely did it from like the mafia genre and crime drama genre and stuff.
Well, that's the thing, because like I remember watching the second one, and I was like, that's really interesting. Because you never really... I had never seen... I'd never seen a mafia film before.
Oh, yeah.
Before I saw The Godfather one, I was like, right, I'm not watching any until I watch... I want this to be my first.
Was it me that told? It was one of our friends that told you to make sure you had to watch The Godfather first.
Well, yeah, that was a weird thing, because I had the Blu-rays of them. I had the 3 films for fucking years. Like, I think it was like the first Blu-ray I ever had was the Godfather trilogy, but I never watched them. I think I've had it since like 2014, probably 2015 actually, and I'd never watched them. And then I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna watch it because, for those who don't know, as if anyone's listening to this, I do a film degree, and every time like they talk about The Godfather, I'd fucking leave the lecture. So I don't want them to fucking talk about it. I haven't seen it yet. Like the amount of time, it's great with online lectures now. Actually, just turn it off. But he just made it. But so I'd have to like constantly leave. I was like, right, no, fuck it. I'm just gonna watch it. I sat down and watched it. I was like, right, that's fucking great. Because the weird thing about, well, I don't know about like just film skills in general. But the one I meant, useless. But you don't really need a film degree to make films. But they only talk about the first Godfather. Well, the one I did, they only talked about the first Godfather. They didn't talk about the second one. Like,
really?
Yeah.
I
They only talked about the first one.
Oh
It
god.
was very weird.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
I mean,
not like you talk about the third, but
I think that the fact that we're talking about it now is like we're just bringing we're the first ones to talk about this in so long.
Well, like the reason I wanted to do the podcast on it was because like I think this is the only opportunity we'll have to talk about the Godfather on it.
Because I mean, after the coda comes out, then I mean it's probably just
that's gonna be it. Like I couldn't see anything else happening.
Oh yeah, it's probably just gonna go back.
I was surprised because when was it? It was about in August when Coppola announced this.
Was it?
It was back in August.
Oh.
September? No, August time. Yeah, because I remember I sent you a message. I was like, oh shit, great, another fucking Godfather film's coming out in December. I was like, yes, that's what we need. New edit.
Oh. I
Um,
am happy that we're getting into a point now where like a ton of movies are just getting re-edited and stuff. In the way that the directors wanted it.
Yeah, I think it's. I'm not linking it to the Schneider Cut again, but I think
we don't need
we're
to talk about
gonna
the Snyder Cut
see a
again.
lot of this now,
Oh yeah.
and I'm all for it. And I know a lot of people were talking about saying, oh, but at that point, you're going to get fans basically making the films. I'm like, not really, because I'm in support of getting the director's vision.
Oh yeah.
Especially
whenever you get something like the Snyder Cut, where it's like the director's vision was like just
4 hours long.
Yeah, but at the same time, it was like a director's vision, but at the same time done by someone else. In that
I'll
way,
take a note. Yeah.
Yeah, like whenever,
Yeah.
and like so heavily interfered with and stuff.
And also the amount of abuse and harassment that has gone on in that workplace because of that.
Oh god, yeah.
That was pretty bad, and there actually is an investigation going into that now, which is good.
Oh, thank God.
With Ray Fisher's really bring that up, which is very good. But like when it comes to The Godfather, like it had a. I don't want to compare it to the Schneider Cut in a way, the production wise, but it had a very bad production. Coppola basically every day didn't know whether he was going to get fired or not.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Like they were literally saying, right, we can fire you easily Paramount every single day of production, right? And this is a film he was not giving up on.
Yeah.
Like this was his baby, like, because Godfather the book was an awful when it came out like a couple of years before. And this was a big deal. Because it was a big book. It was a big deal. The book because it was.
See the book. Does the book cover the first film or does it cover all three?
No, it's just the first one.
Okay.
It was actually kind of weird because Mario Puzo had only ever written novels, so it was actually a funny story. He was just like after he got his like Oscars for like the second one and all, he decided because he'd never really done screenplays before.
Yeah.
Like he'd only done 2 screenplays, and it was just him basically obviously adapting Godfather to film and then obviously penning the sequel.
Yeah.
But he never did a screenplay, so he picked up a book and he was like, oh, I may as well just see what the book has to say. And like writing screenplays and stuff. I said he opened the book, first page just said, if you're looking to be a screenwriter, study Godfather. He said he just closed the book. He didn't read anymore. He's just like, I think I know everything there is to know about screenwriting, and I've never done it.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, like I think there's no real reason to. I mean, I know some people find like you need to actually study and read and read and read. I know like Werner Herzog, for example, just says, oh, read. I'm actually going to add that in now. I'm going to add it.
Oh, really?
Read. if you don't read, you'll never be a filmmaker.
Just gonna like cut it in there and just gonna. So that's what Werner Herzog says about filmmaking, and yeah, Werner Herzog.
That'll be the only bit of production quality done in this. It's just I think in that one clip.
Well, yeah, we haven't seen that done since the DCEU one. So I don't really need to do it all the time, but I like it when I do because it gives me an excuse to like edit something in.
It just had a bit of flair to it.
But yeah, no, religiously, Godfather Part 1 had terrible production history.
Oh yeah.
And it was actually very interesting because I didn't know this until recently that I was doing a bit of research. When Coppola finished the film, it was an hour and a half long. It was an hour and a half long cut.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh God, what?
And he presented it to the executives.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, it's good, but can we see more? Like, he's like, oh, well, usually a film was around hour and a half, 2 hours, right? Never really longer than that, or else your film was going to fail. No one wanted to go to cinema for longer than that. It was a big deal to go to cinema. The only time like people actually went to cinema for a film that was over, 3 hours long was Godfather Part 2, and that had an intermission.
I know. I was shocked whenever the intermission screen came up whenever I was watching it last week. I was like, oh, because it's 3 hours and 20 minutes, and then I got hit by an intermission. I was like, how long is this movie? And I checked, and I was like, wait, what?
No, I always find it weird because like you're not because it's after, I think it's the second time De Niro's on.
Yeah.
It comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's like 4 De Niro's, or like there's 4 scenes, or 4 sequences. With
yeah. Is it whenever he gets
I think it's when he kills.
Whenever he kills what do you call I think his name was like the Black Hand, Finucci or something.
Yeah. White dressed man, white suited man.
Yeah. It was a bit of I was kind of taken aback by it. I was just so invested. I was like, wait, what? And then I had to check how long I was watching it for. I was like, oh my God.
How long's Part 3? Part 3 is only like 2 hours.
2 hours, 50 minutes.
50?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Part 3?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realise it was on.
I watched it yesterday.
Maybe that's why I prefer the first one as well. It's a nice, short, sweet 2.5 hour.
Yeah.
Like 2:20 or whatever. I can't remember. So you think it's around that.
You've no idea. I was like looking at the first one. I was like, oh, sweet, 2.5 hours. That's great. Watched it, and I was like, all right, no,
3 hours.
10 to watch the second one. This is the same day, and I was like, oh, 3 hours and what is it, 20 minutes?
20 minutes, yeah.
I'll just have a couple of days break and then come back to this. But,
yeah, no, I didn't realise Godfather was 3 hours long. It doesn't feel that long. The first one.
Whenever it's like starts going, you're like, it just flies through.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Godfather 4 would have been interesting. Just to see how different, because like the interesting thing about Andy Garcia's character development is 4 would have been a film we hadn't seen before, because it was basically Sonny mixed with Michael,
Yeah.
and that's why I thought was very interesting was they were going to cut in between Sonny's character development, who was going to be played by Leonardo DiCaprio at the time when he was younger, and we would have seen that, and that would have been very interesting. 'Cause like Part 2, it would have been a parallel of father and son.
Yeah, that would actually like seeing Sonny as like in his younger or earlier days. Yeah, I would actually.
But also keep in mind, Vincenzo. Vinny.
Vinny
from now.
Yeah. There's so many names. I think keeping it in Vinny is going to make it easy.
It's always just a really Italian name. Polly, because there's always a fucking Polly in every gangster film. But it would have been very interesting because Vinny at this time, his love interest had died in the previous film, and we were going to see a very dark Part 4. Like, Part 4 would be a very dark film, because we were going to see, this would have been a character that would have been very different. It probably would have eventually led into the 80s.
Yeah.
And obviously with the whole drug thing and stuff.
Yeah.
And it would have been very interesting.
Oh yeah. One thing I will say about that romantic relationship is, oh my god, is it uncomfortable?
Yeah.
It is so uncomfortable to watch.
I don't know why it's in it. It's very confusing.
Well, like,
it's just pure incest.
Yeah, but no, but whenever you watch it for the first time, you're like, oh, okay. It's like you think, okay, she's Mary is Michael's daughter. All right, grand. This guy is probably like some other, just one of the members of the gang. But then you find out it's Sonny's son, and you're like, oh my god, why? And then it's like, oh yeah, your first cousins. I'm like, no, don't do this, please don't. And then you have the whole,
So confusing.
and then you have the worst kissing scene in cinematic history.
Let's not talk about it.
Yeah, let's.
Oh, the cinematography's really off in that film.
Compared to because I will say,
really good. Production's really good.
Yeah.
Surge really ropey. Like
It's
you know
very-
when you and Vinny's killing the two guys, like shooting them with a gun in his apartment, and the
Yeah.
blood and stuff. That looks shit. I'm sorry. It looks awful.
Like, because whenever that happens, the guy whenever he kills the second guy, he puts up his hand, and whenever Vinny shoots, it goes through his hand and then hits him.
Yeah.
But whenever it goes through his hand, it literally just looks like paper mache coming out. Like it looks so bad, and there's no blood or anything. It just looks like paper mache just flying out the back of his hand.
Oh, it's so bad.
But even that, like in terms of I think lighting as well. Like I think the first one does like a lot, it uses shadows a lot more. And stuff.
Yeah.
Like part 3 is so bland to look at.
Part 3 was just your generic. Like,
Even
you know,
even whenever they go back to old places like the town in Sicily and all, like whenever they go to Corleone, it's like whenever you look at it, you can see that like, even it doesn't even look as good.
No. Well, this is the thing, like, part 3 is, I don't know how Coda's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a good film. I don't think it's going to save the film. Will it be better? I don't know. Am I excited that there's a new one? Yeah. Am I going to watch it? Yeah. Am I going to buy the Blu-ray? Fuck yeah, I'm going to have that in my Blu-ray collection. But
oh yeah, for you that don't know at home, Alex has a very, very, very big collection of
It's
Blu-rays.
not that big. It's not that big.
It's getting big.
I just have every American Hitchcock film. Which, and every MCU film and every DCU film and basically every Superman film or Batman film, every Godfather film, all the Nolan films except for Tenet. Well, no, actually, I don't have all the Nolan films. I don't have Insomnia. I don't have Following. But oh yeah, Tenet's coming out soon. I forgot I have that pre-ordered. But yeah, no, it's not a big collection, not yet. We should do an episode just on my Blu-ray collection.
Oh yeah, you should do like just a wee video of you like just breaking down your collection. And stuff. Giving us a I don't even know how to put it. A wee tour.
Yeah. Well, actually, when does this come out? 14th December tonight. Anyways,
Really?
I'm getting sidetracked. Yeah. Getting
okay.
sidetracked. we won't talk about Godfather.
At least one thing I do hope that Coda does is at least just kind of streamline the story in a way.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm happy for getting a new opening.
Oh yeah.
I don't know whether it'll be longer or shorter. Doubt it will be either. I think it'll be pretty much the same length.
I'd say it might hit the 3-hour mark, maybe 10 extra minutes.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
It's gonna be an interesting watch.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean, because it is a completely different film in a way.
Yeah. Like, I really just want to know in what way they're going to like just. I want to know in what way it's going to change the story. I wonder if it's still going to end the same way with Michael, or if they're just going to like rip that out. And
It
replace
will end with Michael's death. I know that 100%. That's
Oh
definitely
yeah,
gonna
but like
happen.
I mean the same type of death.
Yeah, that's the difference. Or if there's scenes before or after that.
It is a weird jump,
Probably
though. I will say.
It's a weird what?
It is a weird jump between Mary's death
Aye!
and then just
It's out of
straight.
nowhere, and I'm like, sorry, this is the end. What?
You get like a wee bit of a replay of the first two, and you're like, oh,
Aye.
Cool.
It's like him dancing with his daughter, him dancing with
yeah, and then
when he got married, and then him. Yeah. Oh.
oh no, he's dead.
Yeah. No, he putting on sunglasses. He sits back and he just dies.
Yeah,
He just dies.
it is such a nice
And then
death.
collapses.
It is such a nice death, but it's so.
It's just what happens before it.
Yeah, I mean, you get the grade A acting from
Sophia Coppola.
Sophia Coppola. I was in rewatching it. I actually nearly laughed in that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the way if you rewatch it, the way she says "dad" whenever she gets shot, I think it's "dad." She says it's so flat, and I swear to God, I nearly started laughing. But then,
She's probably looking at the camera and being like, God,
oh no, this.
I don't want to be in this film anymore.
But and then Al Pacino just brings it back whenever he does that absolutely amazing. I actually love that scream so much because it's silent and then he breathes and then you just hear him breathe in. And then he screams. You're like, oh, that's so cool.
My favorite thing about that entire film is just this is peak Pacino. This is when Pacino was just chewing the scenery, like you know when he's having the diabetic attack, he's like, he just collapses.
He just starts flailing everywhere.
Like it's a very emotional scene, and then you have. Oh.
I do think though he was like the saving grace of the third movie. He really was.
Well, the worst thing is like no one's doing anything.
Yeah.
Like, because there's fuck all characters that return, and the ones that do are just like, oh fuck, I don't really want to do a third one.
Yeah.
And Pacino realizes because he hasn't won an Oscar yet. He's been nominated. He was nominated for every single fucking Godfather, and the reason he didn't win any was mainly because in the first one he refused. He refused the nomination because he got best. He was up for best supporting.
Yeah. It wasn't it. Marlon
Brando was up for best.
Yeah,
actor.
Brando. Yeah.
A, bigger name. B, great performance. But he believed, Pacino believed Michael was the main character, in which I do agree on.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no.
But oh my God, like didn't the third one as well? It didn't get nominated for anything, didn't it? Not.
No, I did get nominated for an Oscar.
Really?
Yeah, Michael.
Because I know it didn't. I know it didn't. Because I know the first two didn't they get like nominated for like adapted screenplay? And
maybe the first show. I'm not sure about the second.
Oh really? I know they got one for like something to do with time.
Time.
Yeah, it was because because it was like doing a not period piece, but like it was set in the 50s. And I might be just completely butchering this.
Here, just for perspective, right? First Godfather nominated won 3 Oscars, right? Technically 2 because Brando didn't accept the Oscar.
Oh, was it Brando that didn't accept it?
Yeah, Brando won it but didn't accept it because of remember he allowed a Native American woman to go up to the stage.
Oh, did he?
It was basically like she was basically like, right, I'm just gonna read what Brando wrote, and Brando didn't attend because he didn't like how Native Americans were being treated in the industry.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
But anyways, you go to Godfather Part 2 with 6 Oscar wins. So first one 3, right?
Yeah.
Second one 6, right? Number 3 nominated, didn't win any, nominated for 7 Oscars.
Oh dear.
It was nominated for 7 Oscars. Obviously, Best Picture, Best Actor in a Supporting Role, Best Director, Best Cinematography. Oh, fuck. Pacino wasn't even nominated.
Was he not?
No. Fucking Andy Garcia got nominated.
Oh my God.
Why did Garcia wasn't even that good.
No one was good except for him, for Al Pacino, and I would say Diana Keaton.
Oh well, obviously Sophia Coppola as well.
Oh, she should have won all the Oscars.
See, Tyler Shearer was really trying. She was really
trying. Oh, that's Connie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was good.
She was trying. Obviously not.
Yeah.
Good. But
I can't even, if I'm honest, I can't even remember any of the other characters in that movie. Now that I'm thinking about it, except for like the amount of priests
Vito's
and
son. Vito's son who wants to be an opera singer. That was a weird plot line.
Oh yeah, Anthony.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the? I really thought that the second movie was building up to Anthony taking the place of Michael, and worse. That's what I thought it was. Like whenever I remember whenever I first saw them, I thought that was the way that the trilogy was going, where it was like it was Vito doing it, and he did it. He was like a good leader, and then Michael doing it, and he was a worse leader. And then I thought it was going to be Anthony, and this is whenever I first saw it, I thought that Anthony was going to be the main character in a way, and then it would be like the family completely falling under him.
Which is very interesting. I mean, I think the biggest problem with part 3 is that the family didn't fall. I think that would have been a better ending.
Yeah.
I
mean, we don't even know what happens to anyone else other than the fact that Mary dies and Michael dies.
And Andy Garcia decided to be in shitty films after that, but yeah, I love how for Anthony's actor, it wasn't even an actor; he just got an opera singer. He had never been an actor before.
Really?
Yeah, they just got him because they were like, "Oh well, we may as well get because he's gonna have a part in the film. We may as well get him to have a good voice."
That's smart.
The biggest takeaway character in all of the Godfathers, Fredo.
Oh.
John Cazale.
Oh, it's so sad what happens
John
to Fredo.
Cazale. No, but are you aware of John Cazale?
I am not.
Do you know how many? Where is it now? Do you know how many films he's been in?
Oh God, how many?
Well, he died of lung cancer right at 42.
Oh no.
He died 4 years after part 2, right?
Oh.
He has only ever been in 8 films. Or sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 films. He was only ever in, right?
Yeah.
His last film, The Deer Hunter.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Good start so far, right? You know, we're thinking that's not bad. You know,
I've never heard of that.
You've not heard of Deer Hunter?
No.
Oh, it's a big film. It's about Vietnam and stuff.
Oh really?
Yeah, like Robert De Niro, Christopher Walken, you know, Meryl Streep. Oh, big film.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Oh, you can watch that.
I do.
Anyways, he was in, obviously, first film, Godfather. Second film, The Conversation, which was another Francis Ford Coppola film, which was pretty fucking good. Which I think a lot of people should actually watch. Godfather Part 2. Then Dog Day Afternoon, which again was a very big film. Sidney Lumet directed it, big film. And then Deer Hunter. He had an amazing career.
Yeah. I think I remember you telling me about this.
What, John Cazale? Oh,
Yeah.
no, we've talked about this before.
Yeah, I think we have. That is so sad.
Now,
though.
are you aware of the Godfather saga?
I am not.
The Godfather saga, the Godfather trilogy. These two things were only right. Godfather saga is 7 hours and 15 minutes long. It consisted of 4 separate episodes, right? Which were all like the first 3 were an hour and a half long. Then the final episode was 2.5 hours long. And it's very interesting because it was only ever shown on TV.
Right.
And there's no like Blu-rays or DVDs of it. But it's the first 2 Godfather films in chronological order. And they've added in deleted scenes and stuff.
Really?
Yeah. So like first episode 1 was an hour and a half long. It was just De Niro.
Yeah.
All of De Niro's arc, right? Episode 2 was basically it was basically the beginning of Brando beginning of Vito
Yeah.
until his death.
Yeah.
And then episode 3 is basically Michael taking over and then the end of Godfather. And then episode 4 is basically Godfather Part 2, but without the De Niro scenes. Which is very interesting, because I
Really?
think it's one of the things that would really work in chronological order.
Yeah.
Even though it works very well paralleled. And then obviously years later there was the Godfather trilogy when the third one came out. Which is titled The Godfather Trilogy 1901 to 1980. Basically, because that's the whole detail. Like, that's the whole thing about Godfather Trilogy is, right, the rise and the fall.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm hoping we'll see the fall more. And,
Hopefully.
You know,
Hopefully.
that's gonna be
Like,
interesting.
the way that, like, the way I think the third one should have went is, you know, the way, like, Anthony doesn't want to be and stuff like that.
Sorry, say that again.
Oh, sorry, okay. You know, like in the third one, it's like one of the things is Anthony doesn't really want to be a part of the family. He wants to go and be an opera singer.
Mm-hmm.
I think it should have like lent more into stuff like that, where like the kids of the family should have started distancing themselves from the family business and all.
Yeah.
And it should have been like that was kind of the fall with the changing times and the fact that they just wanted to go and all do their own separate things and stuff like that, and then Michael realizing that he couldn't hold the family together.
Yeah.
I think that would have been more interesting than
It
what
would have been a
stuff-
more interesting film.
Yeah.
But I understand why, like, the third one is the way it is.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It's strange it took 16 years though. From the
Well, I
second
assume
to
it
the
was just
third.
because everyone was busy. Like,
'Cause I think I remember seeing something like
Coppola-
Coppola just didn't want to do it for so long.
well, it's not even that. I think Coppola was waiting for him to get old. Like, he was waiting for Pacino to get older, which makes sense.
Yeah.
But he was also wanting to do a lot of other. Like, he wanted to do Apocalypse Now. That was his baby that he wanted to do.
Oh,
that was
yeah.
a big one. And he spent fucking years doing that, and that has, like, again, one of the worst productions. I've noticed this with a couple of films.
There's a bit of a trend going
on. But Coppola as a whole, he is a fantastic director. Makes terrible films now, but he comes up with a really interesting concept. Like, there's one film I want him to come out of retirement and do this film as his last film. I think it would be the best way to end his career, and because he is old now, I think he has one film left in him, basically. And he had started working on it in, because like 81 now or something. Yeah, he is. He's 81.
Oh my god.
He's fucking old. But he had been working on it since like the 90s, right?
Yeah.
And it's called Megalopolis, Megalopolis or something, right? It's basically a sci-fi film.
Really?
Yeah, drama sci-fi. It was gonna be like Jude Law and stuff, but was gonna be about an architect wants to rebuild New York City as utopia following like a
Yeah.
big disaster, and they had some stuff shot.
Megalopolis.
Like, he wrote the script early in the early 80s, like.
Yeah.
But then I took a back seat. See, guess what he does? He just writes stuff down and then like takes a back seat most probably. But when he was gonna move into production in 2001, the September 11th attacks happened. So and like the weird thing was the basis of the city was gonna be New York,
Yeah.
and then the fact that the whole film was about an architect reconstructing a utopian version of the city following a disaster.
Yeah.
Sort of didn't really, like, I understand why he didn't do it, but I think now that enough time has passed, it could potentially be done.
I mean, there are obviously people who will bring the parallel to it, but I think.
Well, I'd love to see it be a period piece, like 80s
Yeah.
New York. Like, that would be very interesting.
Sort of like a mimicry of it, in a way.
Yeah.
That would actually be very interesting.
Yeah.
That'd be very, very interesting.
It's one thing we're very good at now in terms of films is building CGI. Like replicating
Oh,
CGI.
yep.
Like if you look at Joker, for example,
Yep.
most of those establishing shots are CGI. Which is very interesting. You don't really think about it or notice it, but it's, to make it feel completely different, to like make it feel like a location but unique in itself.
Oh yeah, I mean, the thing with Joker and all, it's like, yeah, it's kind of like Gotham is kind of meant to be New York, but at the same time, it's
Oh well, specifically New Jersey or Brooklyn, I think.
yeah,
Yeah, New York. Sorry, I confused.
but yeah, it does have like that slight twist to it in a way.
Mm.
But yeah,
I mean, for all those who are listening, we will be having a pocket shorts later in the week. Well, this will be released on Tuesday. We're currently recording this on the Sunday. But this will be released on the Tuesday. We'll hopefully have watched it and have the pocket shorts out by Thursday. And that'll be a quick, short 5-10 minute review.
who knows? Maybe even by then, Adam might have watched these 3 films.
No, I won't. I don't think Adam will ever watch these films. I think that's the problem. That's why I think this weird thing is pocket shorts is his thing, but I feel like I'm going to have to take it over for a week.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll be able to have watched it.
Hopefully.
By then. If not, we'll just do a different pocket shorts, and we will eventually have a pocket shorts out of our review of it. So yeah, anything else to say on Coda?
Oh, I'm just very, very excited. Like, unbelievably excited. Hopefully it can fix Godfather 3 in at least some way.
Completely agree.
Yeah, that's all I can hope for.